Welcome back. In today's episode, I repeat myself.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. That green looks sick.
I see a flock of horses in London. Almost hit a pigeon. My voice finally breaks.
But
I say a naughty word.
The breast.
And the comments section is flooded with people telling me how to ride properly.
Yes, she can.
And most importantly,
in the running for the replacement, my next bike is this Interceptor 650 and...
Friends, welcome back to another episode of Willie's Wheels. I hope you're all doing really well. And this is a bit of a strange video for me, to be honest. Wasn't quite expecting to make it ever, but it's true. This isn't clickbait. I am selling my dream bike, my Triumph Scrambler 1200, imminently. What is one of two very strong contenders for its replacement is actually on the way and will be delivered in about 20 minutes. I've got a shoot in Camden this afternoon, so what we're going to do is jump straight on that bike when it arrives, head into town, and I'm sure a lot of you are asking why sell, what are you going to get instead, and I'm going to fill you in along the way. So it's a bit of I guess a first ride. I have ridden this bike before, but not in the UK, so I'm looking forward to having it for a couple of weeks, doing a long-term test and seeing how it stacks up against the other contender for its replacement, which I'll feature in another video. So, it's a weird one. It's a very surreal moment. But I'll catch up with you guys in a bit. What's that? This could be it. Wow. Look, it's a bike. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
and here it is in Cali Green. It's the Interceptor 650. It weighs a light 202 kilos with a 648cc parallel twin, 18-inch wheels. It's the budget Bonnie. Is it better?
Yeah.
Let's find out.
All right, here she is, contender number one. And yes, of course, it's a modern classic. This is the Interceptor 650. And this is the 2023, and I believe 2024 is the same. And it looks incredible. But the finish on this tank in the sun, it is so nice. Popping glittery green, a nice diamond stitch seat. The updates since I had the Chrome Interceptor in 2022 in Tenerife are really nice. We've also got an LED front light here as well, which looks great. Still looks really classic, but it's yeah, it's neat. It feels just, they've added a little sprinkling of a bit of seasoning on there. So we've got this for a couple of weeks, put it through its paces. So you've got, looks like you've got adjustable preload on the rears, fronts aren't adjustable. So this is option one, and I've got a couple of weeks to decide whether this is right. It looks sick, I love it, I've always loved it. Yeah, thank you to Royal Enfield Europe, Shellwood Blake, for providing this for a review. So everything's stock on this. Sounds pretty good. Now, unfortunately, my Purple Panda mic has decided to completely stop working the moment I'm in a rush and trying to scramble out the door. So I've got a DJI mic under my jacket, and I'm really hoping it'll pick up my voice. I'll try not to talk when we're going quicker. You just can't win. There's so much faff with this kind of stuff. It's so annoying. But I really have to leave. So hopefully you can hear me okay. Hope it translates. If not, I will do a voiceover. But I really want this just to be a first impression and a perfect test of what this bike needs to do for me in the future. Now, I've had a couple of Royal Enfields on the channel for reviews, and I will do a full review of this. This is not a full review. This is just a, I guess, a first ride kind of vibe and a bit of a catch up on life. I've had the Scram 411 and the Hunter 350. Both reviews and first rides you can view up in the corner. I'll link them up there right now. But this is, on first impression, this feels like a a bit more premium. Feels like a much better put together bike already. Switches and handles and things feel really nice. I love these chrome clocks. All right, so let's get into the meat of it. Why am I selling the Scrambler? If you've been following me on Instagram at Willies_wheels, or if you're a subscriber of the channel, you've been around for a while, you know I get to ride lots of bikes, and I settled on, in mid-2022, the Scrambler 1200 XE is my bike. That was my absolute dream bike. I've basically ridden, I'd say, almost every single available product from Triumph, apart from the new stuff and apart from the new TF250, which I really want to get my hands on. So yeah, I've ridden almost every single modern Triumph, thanks to the relationship I have with them and the loan scheme that they've got, which is just so sick. I'm so grateful for. And I knew quite quickly that the Scrambler 1200 XE was perfect for me. Size-wise, everyone asked in the comments, I'm 6'3", which is 187, I think, centimeters. I'm quite a big boy, and I often find I struggle on the smaller bikes because they're just not as comfortable. I feel a bit like I dwarf them. So I knew that bigger bike it was absolutely the right fit for me. And it's incredible. It's still my dream bike. Now, if you're following the Operation Mud series I've got here on the channel, as I delve into the world of off-road and enduro riding, you'll know that I started off with the Scrambler with ambitions of learning to ride off-road on it. And when I finally got properly off-road, not just like tracks and green lanes and things, but got in the sticky mud and some more challenging terrain, I quickly realised that as a novice, that is just not the bike that I need to be learning on. It's too heavy, it's too big, and frankly it's too expensive for me to just keep dropping and not worry about. So it hindered me riding because I was so nervous about dropping. So I was getting tight, I was sitting down, all the things you don't want to do when you're riding off-road. So I bought a DRZ. Amazing machine, I've absolutely loved it, I still love it, and I'm going to keep it. That's fulfilling the need that I have for a bike that will do green lanes to go off-road and that I can really learn on. I'm still learning, and it's the perfect machine, something like that, nice and cheap in comparison to my Scrambler at least. And I can replace the plastics, I can change parts, it's cheap, it's fine. I don't worry about that bike at all. So that's been leaving me in a place where I'm looking at the Scrambler and it's now a machine. It's my everyday regular ride and I adore it. And it also looks sick and I love what I've done to it. But it now doesn't need to fulfill those requirements of a bike that is capable off-road. And it is, and it's far more capable than me. Actually, what I need it to do now is to be a commuter into town, to be a bike that I can load up and go on camping trips with friends, a bike that will take me places. I don't do a lot of motorway miles, but I do quite often need to ping down the M3 or the M4 or whatever down to Brighton. And in my head, the Scrambler does all of that, but it's not quite perfectly suited to those things. In the summer especially, riding into central London, the machine is so hot. And everyone knows, if you've ridden the Scrambler 1200, you'll know. It weighs a ton and it is so hot. It often will burn through my calf. And without doing a full decap, there's no real way around it. It just does get hot, it runs hot because it's a big machine. And that does get very annoying. So there's probably, in my mind, there's more suitable machines for the task. To be honest, when I become more of an accomplished off-road rider, it will be something that will, it will take me wherever I want to go. Once I know that I can kind of chuck it into things and I'm more confident with the weight, it will do everything I need it to do. However, I'm not there yet. I really am loving this colour, this green. I didn't know they did this green. Please forgive me, Royal Enfield, if this has been in your catalogue for a while. But it looks great. I've been well impressed so far. Yeah, this newer model than the one I previously rode, and you can check out the review in the link up in the corner. That was in Tenerife. I had it for a day. Did like a first ride up the hill, which was sick. But that was a few years ago, and it was great, to be fair. But this new model feels just a bit more refined. Braking definitely feels it's more responsive, and it might just be because it's new and been properly serviced and stuff, been properly set up. But yeah, the braking feels really good from that front. It's only got a single disc up there with a 2-pot. But yeah, feels really nice. It's got plenty of pull, and the rear brake's pretty good. But yeah, this just feels like slightly more well put together, which is a lovely surprise. In and out of traffic here. We're in Wimbledon now, and we're almost at the first stop for this little commute, where I'm picking up my camera, and this will be a really good test. Yeah, and so far in town, coming down the A3, the gearing's got really nice ratios. I found that 6th was like a lovely surprise, and it was nice and long. So if you're venturing above 70, it's got plenty of legs for it. I was very surprised. But this, of course, is the 650 twin. So almost half of the capacity that I'm used to, but it's perfectly adequate. It doesn't twisting the throttle doesn't ignite your loins in the same way that my Scrambler does, but I reckon with a set of throatier pipes, this thing will feel really good. Just hope it doesn't rain, because I didn't bring my waterproofs today. It is definitely more of a compact motorcycle though. I'm feeling the difference straight away. Compared to my big Scrambler, I'm quite stretched out there in a good way. Whereas this, especially in the legs, is really compact, but it's by no means uncomfortable. I think part of the reason why I'm considering this and then the other competitor, which I'll keep a secret for now, is after our trip to the New Forest on the T120, I was amazed at how comfortable that was. I think the T120 is slightly larger all round than this, but yeah, over a few hours ride, I was perfectly happy. Loaded up with luggage. There's lots of different options for sitting around, and you've got lots of kind of you can move around and shift your weight around a bit to get a bit more comfortable. But yeah, that trip definitely made me realise, despite being a taller person, longer trips on smaller bikes, smaller than what I'm used to anyway, perfectly fine. Stop number 1, and today is actually the perfect test for this bike in terms of one aspect of my riding. Because I'm picking up my camera, I'm going to need to mount it to the back of the seat to get to work. That'll be fun. That has worked great. If you haven't heard of these rock straps, they are possibly, in fact, they are definitely the best luggage straps I've ever used. They just work, and they've got this like elastic, they're elasticated, so they flex a little bit, they hold it in tight, and yeah, never let me down. I've had my wingman tent on the back of my bike, bunch of boxes and cases and stuff. It's great. I've said it before, I'll say it again. That green looks sick. So yeah, I've got a full cinema camera in the back there, in a Pelly case. This is pretty standard motoring for me these days, in and out of town. That's gone on really easy, super fast. Okay, so why now and why sell? So unfortunately, the one and only reason that I'm selling my dream bike is money. When I bought the bike, I popped it on a finance agreement, and it was within budget, but still a little bit of a stretch. And since then, unfortunately, my insurance has more than doubled. Now I live outside of London in Surrey, but I got a renewal quote. Well, actually I didn't. My insurance called me and said, unfortunately, we can't renew your policy. So I had to look elsewhere, and the yearly fee for insuring my bike is £1,400, and that is ridiculous. For comparison, I put in the details for this Interceptor, 2-year-old, value of about £5,000, and my policy was £190 a year. And to be honest, if it was still a couple of years ago, I would have somehow justified the extra cost. But the reality is, it's 2024, the cost of living is really getting a bit silly, and we have a 20-month-old, and our son is just about to start nursery, and we have to find the money for that. He's only going in 2 days a week, but the cost is at a level where it's a bit eye-watering. So yeah, something's got to give, and unfortunately, luxury adventure motorcycles aren't an essential, and I have to make a big boy decision now and change things up. Of course, hugely privileged to have a bike in the first place, and not only that, now also be running the DRZ as my kind of dirt green lane machine. So with that in mind, I've kind of looked at things and had to make a big decision, and it does pain me. That's the decision I've come to, and it looks like I can replace my Scrambler with a machine like this that does, it does the commute, it will do trips, but it will cost me probably £300 a month less. I don't know many people who can look themselves in the eye and say, well, no, I'll just crack on and keep paying. Yeah, so as much as I adore the machine and everything that it brings, I can't justify it. Dancing through life. Tell you what, mate, this old Enfield here is getting some looks. That's the third look so far. So there we are, that's the situation. I'm sure you'll share my sadness, but it is what it is. Sometimes you've got to make decisions. I have really loved my time on the Scram, and it's not forever, who knows. I would love to get one again. But as of now, it's for sale. And as always, I would love your help and opinions on maybe what I should consider. Do you want to know what the other bike is? Or should I be annoying and keep it a secret? I'll tell you. At the moment, in the running for the replacement, my next bike is this Interceptor 650. I'm not sure I'd buy it new. I'd probably get one that's like 2 years old. And obviously a Triumph Bonneville T100, so the 900cc or the 865. I might even go a few years older Here's the list of requirements and why I've come down to these two. ULEZ compliant, about £4,000. You know, in insurance, you never really know what policy, like what results you're going to get. Fairly cheap to insure, 200 quid a year, 250 quid a year would be amazing. And 2 wheels. I'd love a twin. Modern retro, modern classic, you know, you can see what I'm into here. And something that I can maintain, do repairs on. So that's what I'm thinking. Interceptor 650, T100, and there's a third option, which please do suggest. What do you think? I'm not a huge fan of the Ducati Scrambler thing. I like the Monster, the old one, 2007. That was my first bike. In fact, one of my first ever videos was when I picked up that bike. That was fun. Yeah, a modern classic would be awesome. So yeah, let me know what you think. To be honest, I'm now in this camp, and I think there's a bit of a trend going on where, you know, before, riders were all about literage, you know, CCs, 1000cc superbikes, 1250 GS adventures, and actually, I think people are kind of waking up and going, it costs me so much to run these things, why don't I get a 600? The Tenere 700 is a stonkingly popular bike. I'm on a DRZ 400 and it's wicked. Like, I commuted in on that the other day. So much fun. It wasn't ULEZ compliant, so it cost me 15 quid. And ultimately, these machines get you where you need to be. You just got to find one that you connect to. So yeah, so I'm open to 600s, 700s, 800s, 900s. I don't really want to do a 1200. It's too hot, it's too heavy. I'm not about that life anymore. But she's nimble. Can she filter? Yes, she can. So far, this bike is speaking to me. I'm struggling a little bit with the exhausts because I'm a basic bitch, and I do love a raspy old engine. So it doesn't directly compare to my Scrambler because I've got the slash cuts and it just sounds, I mean, I'll say it, best bike sound I've ever heard in my life, and I get to sit on it. But so far, it is talking to me. I can feel it. It's a nimble little machine. It's also super balanced. Like, there's not many bikes I can just jump on and immediately ride with no hands. So it's a big plus. Something I'm interested in comparing the T100, and I really want to get my hands on one of the right year, not a brand new one, is just the power, how much torque it's got, because the 865 or the 900, you know, you're looking at a 30% increase in capacity, and it will definitely make a difference. And this isn't puny at all, but I think it might just be that little extra zest that kind of brings the bike alive. So that'd be interesting. But I know my mate Max has got one of these. It's Interceptors, and his bike sounds pretty good. So I think with the right exhaust, this could sound nice.
So our first ride together cruelly cut short by a dying GoPro battery, but I'm sure you'll agree, a wonderful start to a few weeks on the Royal Enfield, and I've been really impressed. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and as we look at some footage from my upcoming full review, I am reminded yet again just how good this bike looks. They've done such a great job, and I think the recent updates from 2023-24 onwards really prove that this is a solid offering. It's not a budget Bonnie, it's in its own right a great bike. So if you're interested in hearing my full review, final thoughts, and finding out which bike I choose for the future of Willie's Wheels, hit subscribe, hit like, it really helps this video reach more people, and let me know what you think down in the comments. Thanks again for watching, hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!